There'll be 6 submissions with this. These will all be PDF submissions. You're going to have 1 score and 5 wind parts. Okay, we are working in a French score today. It's an old edition, and we have 5 parts from which we're going to create a score. Some aspects of this you're going to be able to totally replicate, and some we will not be able to replicate, and I don't want you to replicate. So if you need to take some notes as I talk about this, please take some actual physical notes to help remind you of what I'm saying. One issue as we look at a French edition, you can see it has a normal 8th note, but then the quarter rest, a normal 8th note rest. The quarter rest is going to look a little bit different. So just as you look at that, this is an 8th rest. This is a quarter rest. It's very, very old. As you guys input into finale, some of you will put in an 8th rest, quarter rest, 8th rest. You'll move to the next measure, and then finale will change those rests. If finale does that to you, that's fine. Just leave it. Just leave it. The point is, you know where the rests are. You know how to put them in. Okay. If finale lets you keep them that way, great. Okay. But you are not going to replicate. Your quarter rest is going to look like a normal quarter rest, not this French kind of a thing. We're going to learn about trill extension, grace notes, how to double sharp, and also conversely, how to double flat. We're only doing 18 measures of this assignment. You're looking at more than 18 measures in the reference scores. And again, you're going to create a score from 5 parts, and then you'll extract and kick out 5 new parts. As you look at the dynamics, does everybody see where I'm circling with the mouse? Give me a thumbs up if you see where I'm at. Okay, they're slanted in this edition. We're not going to slant our dynamics, okay? We will, however, make sure that when we extract our parts, they're on a straight line as we look from line to line, straight line, because we're professionals now, okay? And we can individually move all those with our selection tool. It's very easy. We've got articulation in this. We've got some accents. We're going to use a fermata. I'll teach you how to do that. We'll have multi-measure rests in our parts, not in our score, but in our parts, okay? So that's kind of an overview of what the assignment is. So now, as always, as I do this, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I need to make this screen smaller, so if I don't see you, just shout. Okay, so we're going to open up finale. I discovered that the audio issues I've been having have been because of my finale audio settings. I think I have them resolved. But of course, if I do suddenly disappear in audio, start waving your hands. Okay, so inside finale, click on File, New, and we're going to do Document with Setup Wizard. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Great. Okay. Again, there's a lot of different things in here. You can create an entirely new ensemble. We will do that on Thursday. We'll finally do that. But there's even more templates here. Oh, I hear someone. Danny, did you need something?
There was something refreshing about the chill of a high storm followed by the storm.
Okay. All right. So we are doing a Wind Quintet. Just as an aside, one of the many reasons I can't stand finale. It is not a woodwind quintet. Not every member of a wind quintet is a woodwind player. It's a wind quintet. This is one of my greatest professional pet peeves. All of you, it's a wind quintet. It has 1 brass player and 4 woodwinds. It's a wind quintet. You need to know that. I need to teach you that. Okay, great. Woodwind quintet. Click next. Here, again, we see all of the instrument families, some staffs. You can change things. Great. And so here it is. Here's the score order. Everything looks fine. We actually are going to make some changes in this, but I'll show it to you later. So click on Next. Give me a thumbs up if you're still with me. Good. I see lots of thumbs up. Great. Okay. So now we'll start inputting our project information. Name of the piece is Aubade, A-U-B-A-D-E. Subtitle, we'll do this in English, is Quintet for Wind Instruments. The composer is Adrian need to move windows around. There we go. Adrian Bart. And under the arranger, that's where you'll put your transcribed by Sister Crawford. That's where we'll put that in. All right. Thumbs up. We ready to click next? Shout out if you're confused. All right, click next. All right, give me some feedback. I want to hear people unmuting. What is our time signature for this project?
6/8.
Thank you, 6/8. Okay, key signature. Now, for those who are less familiar with the Wind Quintet, be sure you're looking at non-transposing instruments. So flute, oboe, and bassoon. Clarinet and horn are both transposing, so don't look at those for your key signature. We need to look at our concert pitch instruments. What is our key signature? Anyone?
A.
Yes, 3 sharps. We are only doing 18 measures. 18 measures. The third rule of music technology is what, my friends?
Specify initial tempo marking.
Always. Thank you. Yes, always, always, always. Our text for this project is Andantino con moto. This is the first error that we have. As you look at the score in the flute part, it says that the unit of time is a quarter note equals 50. That is incorrect. And I have that as you look at the assignment, there's a list of things. Let me show this to you so you guys know what I'm talking about. As you look at the assignment right here, this is a list of all of the errors in the assignment. And that's your first one. It needs to be a dotted quarter. Dotted quarter. Please make sure you've done that. Does everyone have a dotted quarter? Thumbs up for a dotted quarter. Great. And then the actual tempo is 50. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to click finish. Thumbs up for finish. All right. Okay. So we're going to click finish. Remember that the larger the project is, the longer it takes to create this score. So you have to be patient. Okay. We're going to go ahead and set up this spacing. I, for some reason, have never done this in class with you. And then I take points off because I say, your spacing's wrong. So we're just going to do it together. First of all, let's kind of clean things up. Using your selection tool, you can move everything around. If you don't like how it looks, it basically did a pretty good job. Sometimes finale really makes a mess, but that was not bad. Something you need to learn, the word score right here is linked to the individual part names. So if for some reason you ever think, oh, why is the word score there? Let me delete that. You will also delete all the individual parts. And when you print them all up, you'll have a bunch of music and none of them you'll say, I don't know, is that the flute? Is that the clarinet? Okay. So that word score has a program functionality. It's linking the title of every part. Okay. This all looks good. We're going to try to make even spacing throughout this score for this project. So rather than having 8 measures and 7 measures and 3 measures, which looks terrible, let's do 4 systems and we'll do 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, and 5. Okay. So come up to your first system. We're going to grab these first 3 measures. Using the arrows on your keyboard, just hit the down arrow, move that down. Then we're going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these measures. Move those down. And then the last 5 measures here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and move all those down. How do we feel about that? Was that a good positive
I have a
experience?
question about that.
Yes, Jane.
So when I have tried in the past to move things up instead of down, it won't go up. How do I move them up?
Should just be the up arrow. If you and yeah,
I do have a Mac, but
it should still because if you moved it down, it should still do the same thing.
Okay, maybe I'm highlighting it wrong.
That is a very real very real possibility. Really make sure it's the entire measure, because even if you're just over a little bit, that might make a difference.
For me, when I've noticed on the Mac, when I'm moving, I just click the top of the measure and it will move all the parts up or down. So don't even grab and hold, just select, like just click and then move the up or down arrow, and that will
Oh, just click
move
it?
the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Give it a try, Jane, to make sure that works for you. Okay, good. Wow, I'm really froggy. I apologize. This is still COVID. I still have just like as an FYI, 9 weeks later, I still have respiratory issues. It's crazy. Okay. Next, we need to fix a few things. So let me move this over so you guys can see this. Right. As we look at these parts, we have to check out these key signatures. So flute looks good. Oboe, hautbois, that's French for oboe, looks good. Then we get to clarinet, and it says clarinet in la. For all of my solfege geniuses, what is la? What's the equivalent to la? What key is that?
A.
A, yes. But if we look at our score, it's clarinet in B flat, which is typically the instrument inside of a wind quintet. But clarinets come in different keys, as Emma can attest to. Most commonly used is B flat and then A after that. But then there's also C and E flat, and there's a whole list of them. So we need to make some changes. Okay. In addition to that, if we go to the next one, and Kyle can talk about this, right here we have cor and re. Kyle, if you're still with me, my friend, what does that mean?
Sorry, I had to step away from my computer for a second.
That's okay.
Corn Ray, is that a D?
Yes, it's horn in D. Yes, absolutely.
That's a fun one.
But the standard horn transposition is horn in F. So we also, and you can see the key signature doesn't match there. So we have to make some changes. And then of course, bassoon or basson, which actually is I'm not going to get into it. Leave it alone, Sister Crawford. Don't obsess. Bassoon looks great. Okay, so we have to make some changes to the score. So, new tool. Here we go. Who's excited? Double thumbs up for a new tool excitement. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your false excitement. Okay, come up here to Window, and we're going to click on Window and then Score Manager. All right, Score Manager. Inside Score Manager, there are 2 tabs. There's your basic file information where we put in the title and all that jazz. And then there's the really great stuff, which is your instrument list. And this is where we can make change to the score. This is a big tool. There's a lot of things in here. You can change your score order. You can add instruments, get rid of instruments. You can change transpositions over here. You can change the notation style. You can change the staff. So for example, if you want your bassoon to read in all tenor clef rather than bass clef, or your cello in all tenor clef, right? You can make staff changes here. A lot of different tools in here. So we're going to make adjustments to our score. So the first one we need to make is that we have clarinet in B flat, which is not what we want. All the way over here on the right-hand side of the screen is a little X. If you're not seeing that X, you need to pull this box out. So if you just come over on any of the edges, you'll see an arrow pop up and you can redraw that space, redraw that box. We're just going to click on that little X and it's going to, and watch the score, it's going to disappear. Clarinet in B flat is gone. Who needs to see that again? I think we're good. Thumbs up if that was successful for you. Good. Mac users, we on board? Allie says you're on board, so I'm trusting all of you are on board. Okay. All right, we need to add an instrument. So right here, below that top box, it says add instrument. Here's all of our instrument families. Here's our woodwinds. And we need to add in clarinet in A. Just give it a double click. And it has popped up into your score. Thumbs up if that was successful for you. Great. However, Finale gave it to us in the wrong place. It put it below the horn. This is not proper score order. Very easy. There's these 3 little lines over here. Just click and hold and drag and make sure it gets placed above the horn. Thumbs up if that worked well for you. Oh, I love it. Okay, great. We got clarinet and A figured out. Next, our order of business is horn and F. We cannot, there is no, if I go add instrument and I come down to our brass, there is indeed no horn in Re. There's horn in E flat. There's there's all kinds of horns. There's so many horns. You guys are going to have fun in scoring and arranging, learning about all these instruments. So we kind of have to judge this a little bit. Okay. We're going to keep the horn in F, but we are going to change its transposition. So click on horn in F, make sure it's selected. We're going to come over here to transposition, over here on the bottom right. Right now, our horn has 4 sharps. If you look at the reference score, it needs to look like it has a key signature of C. So in Finale, to get rid of sharps in transposition, we add flats. To get rid of 4 sharps, we're going to add 3 flats. Right here, up a minor third. And now if you look at your project, the horn has a written key signature of C. That's proper transposition for this. Are we all good? Did everyone have success with this? Great. Next, this is one of the many inconsistencies of Finale. One of the things I find very frustrating. Sometimes you do work in dialog boxes and it's apply, or you click OK. In this one, it's just an X, which always makes people nervous for obvious reasons. The work you've done will remain. It will remain. There's no OK and there's no apply. But we're going to click X. Okay. So we have the horn in the right key signature doing the right transposition, but the name is wrong. You may recall from last week, very simple to fix using your selection tool. Just right click. Always remember that right click brings up all new submenus. And we're going to edit the full staff name. And so right here, you can do it in English, you can do it in French, horn in Re. Don't worry about the accent aigu. If you wanted to do italicization, remember there's that little text tab. We used this last week. You can find all the same things, the size, the style, all that jazz. Click OK. Is everyone on board so far? Fabulous. Allie, go for it.
Just really quick, does it matter, like, you don't care if I put horn in D, because then it matches with clarinet in A? That's chill.
Yes,
For
absolutely.
my own sanity.
Yes. And in future projects, probably stick with one language in your score, as Allie has done. For right now, I'm just working through tools, but yeah, definitely
Cool.
Be consistent with whatever languages you choose for your scores.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, good. So now we're ready to do some work. Here's what I want you to do to prepare you for learning some more tools. I want you guys to get the first 3 measures of the flute part. Get that into the score. Let me point out a few things. Here's your next error. Listen carefully. Everyone, let me see your eyes. Right here, the downbeat, the first note of the 3rd measure should be a dotted quarter. It's a dotted quarter, not a quarter. It is in my errata list, okay? There's several there. You guys need to look at those. Make sure it's a dotted quarter. Don't worry about the trill extension or the grace notes just yet. Just get the quarter notes in and get the 16th notes in, get your rests in, and then I'll show you some more tools. Okay, so do that right now. The transposition, yeah, let me show that again. So click on window up here in your main menus, window.
Okay.
Score
Score
manager.
manager.
Yep. There's 2 tabs there, file info and instrument list, and that's what you want. If you haven't already done so, let's make sure we have this saved. So file, save as, make sure you know where it's going. This is something that I struggled with Finale, because even if you have auto save on, if you haven't set up your save as, you need to make sure you set up your save as, because the auto save is still a little funky. One of the many quirks with Finale. Okay, next, let me show you guys the Trill tool. So I already have this in the flute part. Let me zoom in. Control plus plus plus. Okay, too far. So the Trill tool is over here in your Smart Shape palette. And just like everything in the Smart Shape palette, we apply it in the same way. It's a double click, hold, and drag. So I'm going to do this to the clarinet part. You're going to do this to the flute part. Click on the TR for Trill. Come into your score. Come down to the note. Make sure the arrow's pointing to the note you want to apply this to. Double click, hold, and drag. Double click, hold, and drag. The TR will pop up, and then the Trill extension. The Trill extension is going to be too long. That's okay, because as soon as you let go of the mouse, you'll have these little editing diamonds. Hover, click, hold, drag it back to the size you need it to be. Okay? Who needs to see that all again? Great. So TR tool, Trill tool in your Smart Shape palette. Come into your score. Make sure the arrow's pointing to the note. Double click, hold, drag. The Trill will pop up, and then the Trill extension. Let go of the mouse. It'll be too long. Come over to the little purple diamond, hover over it, click and hold, and drag it back to shorten your Trill extension. Okay. Thumbs up for success. Control. All right. So Trill tool in the Smart Shape palette. Come into your score. Make sure the arrow's pointing to the right note. Double click, hold, and drag it out. It'll be too long. That's okay. Let go of the mouse. You have several editing boxes. Grab this diamond on the right side. Click and hold your mouse. Drag it back to shorten the extension. Just like everything, you can always use your selection tool to grab these and move these around. You can double click to get the little editing diamonds to pop back up as well. Okay. Click away when you're done. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is the grace notes. Let me erase what's here. Okay, so grace notes also in your simple entry palette at the very bottom, it's the little eighth note with the slash going through it. That's your grace note. Select the grace note. Also select the duration of the grace note, which in the score is 16th notes. Now, in the flute part, you'll see that the grace notes are for an F double sharp and then a G. We have an F sharp in the key signature, but we need it to go up another half step. Okay, so I'm going to show this to you. So you're going to input it just like you do any other note. You come over to your score. We have the grace note on. Click on the F. You'll see it pop up, but we need it to be a double sharp. We need to raise another half step. So if you have a full keyboard, over in your number pad, hit the plus sign. That'll give you another half step. If you don't have that, you need to come over and hit the plus half step here and probably hit the note again so it goes in. Okay. And then you can do the same thing, add the G grace note. Thumbs up for those who had success. Perfect. Who's a thumbs down on this? Good. No one's a thumbs down. I like that. Not that I can see, at least in my gallery view. Good. So that's how you do grace notes. Pretty easy. Also, that's how you do half steps for double sharps and double flats. If you come back over to your simple entry, you see a plus half and a minus half. Or you can use plus and minus if you have a number pad. You can also do it with your top row plus and minus. I find that to be quirky. I haven't had a lot of success with that. I don't recommend it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, use the plus half or minus half in the simple entry palette. So a few ways to do that. Yes. So just, let me get here. Just do this. This is what Finale is letting you do, and that's fine. That's fine. It's going to look a little different. It's not going to let you do the double beam all the way through.
Okay.
That's fine. That's how it is. Okay. Everyone pause where you're at. Let me show you how to do fermatas. Okay. So give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Just pause where you're at. Great. So a fermata is attached to a single note. All things that are attached to a single note are in your articulation tool. So we come up to articulation tool right here. Click on it. Come into your score. Make sure the arrow is pointing to the note you want to apply the articulation. Double click, and here's your articulation panel. Lots of different markings in here, not just articulations. Okay, there's a lot of things. The accents, the staccato, the agogics, the caret accents, but also the fermata. Come here to the fermata, double click, very easy. However, in some of the parts, you're going to need to apply a fermata to an empty measure of rest. So if I were to do that again, come to an entire measure of rest and add a fermata, I double click, nothing happens. So in your assignment, there are full directions for this right here. Fermata over notes and rest. Fermatas are found in the articulation tool. Finale will not allow you to place a fermata over an entire measure of rest. You will need to create a fermata. Okay, that will not work. I already know this will not work. I need to update this. So here we go. To get a fermata over an entire measure of rest, we have a few things we have to select the measure, go to plugins, note beam, rest editing, change to real whole rest. Then you select articulation tool, select rest, choose fermata. It's a whole long thing. So let me show this to you. So here's an entire measure which needs a fermata. 1, click on the selection tool. Select the entire measure. Come up to plugins. Click on note, beam, rest editing. And then we need to change to real whole rests. Nothing happens that you can see. But now we can click on the articulation tool, come down, double click. Uh-oh. There it is. And now we can apply the fermata to the whole rest. You'll want to do this, let me not be vague. It's going to be on the last measure for the oboe. So putting it on the last measure of the oboe. The last measure of the horn, or the last measure of the bassoon. So let me show this whole thing again. Okay, so first step, selection tool. Select the entire measure. I'm in the, no, that's clarinet. Let's do oboe. Okay, I've selected the entire final measure of the oboe. Come up to plugins, note, beam, and rest editing. Change to real whole rests. You see nothing change, but now when we click on articulation tool, double click on the fermata, and now we're able to apply the fermata to an entire measure of rest. Who needs to see that again? Multi-measure rests. Click on edit, multi-measure rests, create for parts and score. Never put multi-measure rests in a score. We just want to select the 5 parts. click OK. You will not see anything change in your score, but when you go to extract your parts, then you'll see the multi-measure rests. Let me do a quick part extraction just to remind you what my expectations are. So File, Extract Parts, click OK. Great. Okay. I don't have any dynamics in here, but do please remember that your dynamic should be a straight line across with nothing touching. So if you need to go into your staff tool and move a staff down so that you can have straight line dynamics, that's what needs to happen. Also, don't let Finale do this to you. I do not want to see any oversized final measures like this. This is unacceptable. If Finale gives you 1 or 2 measures on one entire line, you need to either move measures down to fill up that line or move that 1 or 2 measures up. Okay? No oversized final measures. Make sure nothing is touching. Nothing is touching. So don't have slurs in crazy places and hitting titles and things like that. Okay, use your selection tool, move things around. Remember that you're going to PDF these parts after you've done all of your editing. This is essential. And so you'll upload 6 PDFs. And then remember, my friends, there are multiple errors. There's 6 different, not errors, but some errors and clarifications that is there in the assignment as well. Yes, absolutely. So a rehearsal letter is something that has to be attached all the way across the score in all parts. The expression tool. Yes. Cool. So expression tool, I can't remember where it is. Go to the measure where it's being applied. I can't remember what measure number it is. Double click, and then you can go to rehearsal marks, and I believe it's an A, and just click on it, and it does it intelligently. So the first time you do it, it does A. The next time you do it, it does B, like that. And there it is. You might need to move it. There it is. It's not going to look like the one that's in the score. That's fine. Again, you're only going to see it over one system. That's something you'll want to check for as you extract the parts to make sure that rehearsal mark shows up in every part.